There, we are waiting for his opening statement before the House Intelligence Committee. I assume it will be a little bit different than the one he had before the House Judiciary Committee. When he speaks, we'll go to that. Ahead of that, we got Bill McGurn here, great wordsmith at his own right, Wall Street Journal editorial board member, former Bush 43 chief speechwriter. Also, Lizzie Wicked McDonald, because she's so smart. She goes by the Wicked Smart McDonald. Then there's Dan Geltrude. He's just a great accountant, good with numbers, so he can make sense of how the numbers move on this. So, Dan, I ended with you on this and whether it's moving the market needle at all. Forget about the political needle. I don't think it is.
It's really not, Neil. I think this is in the rearview mirror of the market. They are so far past it, as are many of the American people, I think, in general. I think this has really become just the same song that's been played on the radio over and over and over again.
There were no bombshells to make people think, people like yourself, differently.
No, there was nothing that came out today that we didn't already know, and therefore there isn't going to be any impact on the market, and there hasn't been.
Lizzie, I was into that back with my panel, Bill McGurn of the Wall Street Journal, Elizabeth McDonald, the hit host behind the hit show, Evening Edit, and last but not least, Dan Geltrude, Geltrude & Company, best-selling author. That this is not going to script. It's not going to plan, Dan. And I'm wondering, we are hearing separately reports that this committee, the Democratic committees, wanted to meet with Mueller ahead of time just to sort of go over things. He did not want to do that. What you call practice or drill sessions, I don't know. Now, that is true. It goes back to his reluctance to even have to testify at all, and could explain the fact that they were not expecting the Bob Mueller who is appearing here.
Right. I don't think they were expecting it at all, Neil. Look, I think that people fall into four different buckets here. People that are for Trump, people that are against Trump, people that don't care, and people that are trying to figure all this out. And I don't think, based upon what we're seeing going on today, anybody moves in any direction. There's no clarification here. We're seeing a regurgitation of what was in the report, to the extent he even understands what was in his own report, because, as we were talking about before, how much input and how involved was he in the writing of this report? And he's making himself look bad. He's losing credibility, and I think in the end, everybody walks away frustrated on all sides.
You know what you look for is something like this, Lizzie, is where it goes from here. Now, assuming that this event with the Intelligence Committee plays out like the Judiciary Committee, the idea of building impeachment hearings off of this, that might be a tough sell. And maybe not. Anything can happen in Washington in the summer. But your take on that?
Yeah, you're right. What's next? Right? Because even Adam Schiff, the chair of the House Democrat who's chairing this Intelligence Committee, he said, quote, you know, we should be very circumspect about how catalytic an event this will be with Mueller testifying, because people are already pretty dug in their views in the matter. You know, will this affect a 2020 race? The one who has the most stake in this is Elizabeth Warren. She said, yes, she read the report. She's taken to the Senate floor, making speeches about the Mueller report. She's dug into it in the campaign trail. So the 2020 Democrats are also going on about this. I will say this. What's really interesting about these hearings are as follows. Mueller and the DOJ said you had to stay within the four corners of this report. There are an awful lot of footnotes that are also within the four corners of that report. And those footnotes show how much James Comey's notes and memoranda mattered to this probe and what triggered the probe. So there are lots of questions that still could be asked that they haven't asked already about what started the probe, what started the surveillance of the Trump campaign. So I think you're right, Neil. What is next? Do we go to impeachment? It's still an open question.
You know, Bill, for a lot of people, you don't read everything like you do. I mean, this is new to the American people. They don't know. They know about James Comey. They know about the president not flipping over James Comey. A good many of them know that the president fired James Comey. And then they discover this, oh, this guy is good friends with James Comey. So that's kind of widely known. But I think in the general community, a lot of people just say, well, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. And but I think Democrats were waiting for more of the stuff that doesn't sound right, that helps them, that helps Republicans.
Right. Look, I think they didn't get it for several reasons. What they wanted, they got Mr. Mueller to repeat certain things, that not finding evidence of a crime does not mean he's innocent.
Right.
Right. And then they got him to say.
And that's how it started out. Right. And that's what people were
And they got him also to say that he, in his response to Ted Lieu, that the reason he didn't indict was because of Department of Justice rules, right? Which he clarified later. So what they were hoping for was that this
Other lawyers have questioned that,
right,
by the way.
What they were hoping for was to breathe life into this, into the Mueller report, to make it part of impeachment. But this is an impeachment drama. It's everything but actual impeachment. I don't think they're getting that from this report. Look, I just saw a tweet from Lawrence Tribe where it said the Democrats had hoped this would breathe life into the report, and it sucked the life out of the report. So I don't think it's serving the purpose, which was political theater, to get everyone to do it. And I think Mr. Mueller doesn't look so good answering some of the tough Republican questions as you raised. Right. If he's just going to say it's not in my purview, a lot of stuff was in his purview. You know, what if 10 or 15-year-old financial case against Paul Manafort, you know, which he started. So I think this is going to be a big dud. And I think you're right about most Americans, you know, we're satisfied with the bottom line of the Mueller report. No collusion, no underlying.
Yeah, you know what else is going on is the reports are coming out that the Democrats really hung their hat on the impeachment hearings because the half a dozen other probes within Congress against Trump ain't going anywhere. They're kind of stalled out because the president's blocking them, and they're trying to go to court to, you know, revive them. So this was sort of their last-ditch push on the Mueller hearing to get all of the other probes restarted and jump-started again because those are dying on the vine.
Yeah, and you think about it, Dan, I know we got to go to break here, but a smoking gun requires that you didn't have a script ahead of time, right? And unless he says something that goes off that report or way beyond that report, there is no smoking gun.
No, this is quite rehearsed, Neil, although the dress rehearsal right now isn't going so well. I mean, he clearly didn't practice quite enough to make himself come across as credible. But look, I think there's absolutely no chance, unless something crazy happens this afternoon, that we're going to impeachment proceedings based upon the Mueller report. I think this is over, and I think the American people have made a decision to move on. I don't think it'll have any impact on 2020 as well.
Yeah, if you didn't like the president, you still don't like him. If you did like the president, you still like him. So you might be right. In the end, that's it. Guys, I want to thank you, Wolin, for your patience through all of that. We'll continue to monitor these hearings as well, keeping an eye at the corner of Wolin Broad, as I say, where we have the Dow down about 113 points. Boeing, the overwhelming, better than half of that right now. Its 737 MAX could be disbanded entirely here. It's way too soon to say, but Boeing just completed its worst quarter in its entire Anyway, back with us is Bill McGurn of the Wall Street Journal, evening edit host Elizabeth McDonald, CPA, accountant, best-selling author Dan Geltrude. Lizzie, obviously the message that Boris Johnson is saying is, I might not have all my people together. I know this, that I'm here because this Brexit thing has got to be done, and it's going to be done, whether there's a deal or not to go with it.
Yeah, by the end of October, that's what he's saying right now. Pretty forceful that he comes out right off the bat and says that. And we're hearing that he's assembling his same team that he had on the Brexit referendum in 2016.
And to be fair, he was always pushing this. It wasn't like Theresa May, who kind of, all right, this is the will of the people.
Yeah, but Theresa May had competing, disparate voices on her team that tore her apart. These guys are all on the same page, so he's bulleting ahead right now.
Yeah, who needs this more? The rap you hear about the Brits right now is that they're the ones who suffer more than the Europeans. But I always wonder, the Europeans are concerned, you know, they just might leave and people will discover life goes on merrily for the Brits, and they're more worried right now than the Brits are.
I agree entirely. Look, I wish Boris Johnson well. One of the things is he's the first prime minister who actually believes in Brexit. We had Theresa May was a person saying, I'm going to implement it, but she didn't vote for it. She's not for it. So we'll see whether he can do it. I think the future for the British is to leave the European Union and try to forge a free trade deal with the United States. And I don't think there's any reason why they can't prosper.
You know what's interesting, Dan? I was thinking about the emergence of populists again, if you want to just summarize Johnson that way. But I'm thinking the Australian Prime Minister, you know, reelected, hanging in the power there, very close friend and confidant of Donald Trump's. The world is not recoiling from that approach. If anything, it's doubling down on it.
Yeah, I agree, Neil. I think that people all around the world, quite frankly, are sick of the way government operates. I don't think the United States is the only government that has such divisions going on. Great Britain has the same issues that we have. I think Boris Johnson is facing the same issues that Donald Trump is. Besides sharing the same hairstylist.
Why does this guy not comb his hair? Is that like a shtick?
I think he doesn't want to look too much like Donald Trump, so he just kind of goes with the
guessing. I
just got out of bed look. That's where I think he's going.
Right.
But I think a lot of people are fed up across the globe, Neil, and hence why you have the rising of the populace.
Let me switch gears.